Welcome to The Planet Forward with Preetha, conversations for a greener future, the place where we ignite discussions and uncover innovations driving us towards sustainability. Every episode, join your host Preetha as we explore the stories, ideas, and pioneers making a real difference in our world. Get ready to be inspired, learn, and be a part of the change that propels us forward to a greener tomorrow.
Welcome to Planet Forward with Preetha, Conversations for a Greener Future, where we celebrate the individuals at the forefront of environmental advocacy and sustainable change. Today, I'm honored to introduce a guest whose remarkable achievements and dedication to the planet far surpass what most achieve in a lifetime. At just 11 years old, Prasiddhi Singh has already made an indelible mark on the world as a champion for the environment. Recognized with the Prime Minister National Child Awardee, the highest civilian honor for those under 18 in India. Prasiddhi's commitment to our planet is nothing short of inspirational. She is the founder of Presiddi Forest Foundation and the Green Pillar, organizations that spearhead her mission to create a greener, more sustainable world. Prasiddhi stands as one of the youngest delegates at the United Nations Climate Change Conference COP28, showcasing her dedication for global environmental advocacy. Her voice has resonated at the SDG Pavilion inauguration by the United Nations Department of Economic and Social Affairs, and as the youngest panelist at the 5th UNFCCC, the Paris Committee on Capacity Building Hub, highlighting her as a formidable youth speaker on the international stage. Beyond her advocacy, Prasiddhi is known as the youngest fruit forest creator in India, a title recognized by the India Book of Records. Her initiatives have not only greened landscapes, but also nurtured a new generation of eco-conscious minds. As a brand ambassador for the Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao campaign and the child ambassador of Green Tamil Nadu mission, she is leading by example, showing that change is possible at any age. Featured in Wikipedia for her significant environmental contributions and having planted over 130,000 trees, Prasiddhi's efforts extend to create microforest in educational institutions and community lands. Her work as a G20, Y20 official consultant and national speaker, along with her documentary featured by National Geographic, underscores her wide-reaching impact. Prasiddhi's dedication to biodiversity and her formation of an eco-army of over 80,000 warriors worldwide through workshops demonstrates her commitment to education and activism. As a two-timed TEDx speaker and the youngest keynote speaker at the Harvard Model United Nations India, her message is clear. We all have the power to be impact creators. Now venturing into Web3, climate technology, and nature-based solutions, including mangrove plantations, Prasiddhi continues to push the boundaries of environmental activism. Her accolades, including the Diana Award, the Child Prodigy Award, and numerous others, celebrate her as a young changemaker reshaping our world. Listeners, join me in welcoming Prasiddhi Singh to the show, a young social entrepreneur whose life's work is not just an inspiration, but a call to action for us all. Prasiddhi, I'm so honored to have you on Planet Forward today.
Absolutely. So first of all, hello everybody. Hello all the amazing listeners. Greetings, namaste and vanakkam. And I am so happy to be over here on Planet Forward, which is so rightly named. You know, how it is important about how we shape the future for our planet in a more sustainable and resilient way. And I must appreciate the effort of Preetha Auntie to actually bring all these change makers and people working on the ground together on this beautiful podcast platform. And I'm sure everybody who comes over here, speaks over here, would surely be an inspiration for all of you. So, first of all, thank you so much for inviting me. And it is a pleasure to be over here on this platform. And I am really looking forward to this extraordinary environmental conversation between us.
Welcome, Prasiddhi. So, the first question, like you said, I want everybody to be inspired. It is around your early inspiration and beginnings. So, what inspired you to start your environmental journey at such a young age? Can you tell us about your first project and what you learned from it?
Well, somehow I've always had this unconditional bond with nature. I've always been inspired from nature. And at the age of 4 in 2016, when Vada cyclone hit the shore of Tamil Nadu, I was disheartened by the devastating impacts because I was just 4 years old and treating trees like my friends. When I saw them getting uprooted, the road flooded, thunderstorms, I was like, this is wrong. But I felt that just being sad or angry or just talking about it is not going to be the solution. I really have to do something for it. And that is why I started to participate in these tree plantation drives. And after doing that for 2 good years, from the age of 4 to the age of 6, after learning from experts, foundations, farmers, villagers, people working on the ground, really looking at the importance of doing native trees, not doing monoculture, doing the entire process of the germination, tree plantation, forest creation, everything. After that, at the age of 6, I said that I want to do something of my own. I want to create a real impact myself. And that is when I decided that I don't want to plant 1 or 2 trees. I want to plant 1 lakh, or should I say 100,000 trees. And I was just 6 years old. And I had taken this goal without having a clear action map in my mind. But I was determined to make our planet green, to make it better. And so after taking this goal, I I decided that just the goal is not enough. I have to take real action. So this leads me to my first project in 2018. So I decided that because there were lots of questions popping in my head, that where will I plant? What will I plant? What would be the process? Saplings? Where will I get the funds? So slowly I started to jot these questions down and I started to answer them and come up with the solutions. And then I decided that I wanted to start off with these government, rural schools or and panchayats, because over here I can inspire the villagers, farmers, and I can also inspire the students, to spread environmental awareness and do the tree plantation. But just imagine a 6-year-old girl going to these headmasters and principals, and in government the list is long, the panchayat president, block
Yes.
development officer, district collector, tehsildar, revenue inspector, and telling them that I want to do a tree plantation drive on your land, that too to support biodiversity, to support these birds and squirrels. I mean, what would their answer be in the beginning?
I can
Everybody
only imagine.
appreciated what I want to do, but yes, exactly. I mean, everybody appreciated it, but nobody came forward to actually help and actually start to help me to start this initiative of mine. So after doing a lot of effort, one school principal agreed to it and believed that a 6-year-old girl could bring a difference. And then it kicked off from there. But then came, how will I get the saplings? How will I get the funds? And slowly I started to create my own solutions. I started to create these bookmarks myself, and paper pencils and grow kits and paintings through which I raised funds. I created my own ecosystem. I and from there, it all started. But my first project was definitely very memorable to me that tree plantation drive, that first Prasiddhi Forest, because that is where it all started. That was the beginning of this journey of mine.
Wow, Prasiddhi, what an inspiration you are. At 6 years old, you did not, even think, oh, I'm just only 6 years old. What can I do? On the other hand, you actually went, forged ahead, and spoke to the headmasters and all the other government officials that you had to convince them of your dream and ensure that they were able to help you fulfill your dream as well. Amazing. Oh my God, it's such a great start. I'm so inspired just listening to your story. So let's go to the next one then. Environmental activism. This is around that. So what are the goals you have for your fruit forest? And how do you plan to achieve them? How do you involve other children and your community in your environmental projects?
So right now, till now I have planted 130,000 trees, 1.3 lakh trees in 93 different places across India, majorly in Tamil Nadu, where I belong.
So, Prasiddhi, that was very, very inspiring to listen to you talk about how your journey started and how you inspired everybody, especially all the government officials, to buy into your dream and also help you. So, I'm really, really impressed that this conversation is starting off really inspirational. So, let's move on to the next question I have for you, which is around environmental activism. What are the goals you have for your fruit trees, and how do you plan to achieve them? How do you involve other children and your community in your environmental projects?
So till now, I have planted 130,000 trees, 1.3 lakhs trees in 93 different locations across India and majorly in Tamil Nadu. And these trees, they are all Prasiddhi forests. That's how I like to name them. 93 different Prasiddhi forests. And every forest is unique in its own way. Now, as I grow, now as my projects grow, as Presiddi Forest Foundation grows, I have, tried to basically expand the projects that I do, keeping my baseline as nature-based solutions. So, nature-based solutions are basically those kinds. If I explain it in simplified terms, projects that are done for nature with the help of nature. So there is no much involvement of technology into it, like renewable energy. Rather, there are projects like lake restoration, agroforestry, indigenous tree plantation, and that is what I have been working on now. So apart from tree plantation, which is the core, I have also grown on doing lake restoration and agroforestry, which is basically a combination of agriculture and afforestation, doing mangrove plantation, because being in a state like Tamil Nadu, where we have coast, which is one
Yes.
of our biggest power, if we utilize it in a more efficient way by utilizing our estuaries for these mangrove plantations, it could make a huge difference, because mangroves are huge carbon sequesters. They are known as a nature based economy on themselves. They contribute to biodiversity. And their biggest support, of course, is that they protect us from storm surges.
Yes.
So I've been working on mangrove plantation and lake restoration in these projects, and I hope to expand further to other such projects, because if we grow into these projects, then it can make a huge difference. For instance, lake restoration, they really help to purify the water, to get rid of the minerals in our water, to create lakes. So I have been trying to increase my nature based solution projects, to expand it to different stakeholders, for communities, for students, for farmers, for villagers, so that my projects can be more beneficial in different ways. Because wherever I went, somewhere I saw the lake was not clean, but it is a huge lake. It can support the entire community. Somewhere I saw there are stories, but they are not clean, they are not maintained, so you cannot even do a mangrove plantation. So over there in those communities, I have brought an environmental sort of a revolution
That's
by
wonderful.
doing these mangrove plantations. Yes, by doing these mangrove plantations over there, by cleaning up the estuaries, planting them, supporting the communities. In fact, initially the villagers were like, will this be supportive? They were hesitant in terms of even the idea of doing it. But after they saw the benefits, migratory birds are coming, fishes are coming, they are getting protected from these floods and storm surges, they got very happy. They started to understand the project. I did agroforestry. So they started to grow these small groundnuts below. So from the yield, they were even able to earn, and obviously the trees were sequestering carbon. So I have been trying to create these other projects and to increase my ecosystem supportive environmental initiatives.
Wow, that is awesome. So you spoke about lake restoration and mangrove planting. So I'm sure it was not an easy thing, right? Like you said, when you're going and speaking to communities, for them it is like something which is new and they've not heard about it. So convincing them to even follow the path is a Herculean task for you. So the next thing I have is on challenges and overcoming them, right? Especially at your age, it's not easy at all. So, what challenges have you faced while working on your initiatives, and how did you overcome them? How do you balance your schoolwork with your passion for environmental activism? That is something I really want to ask because, especially you being 11-year-old, you have schoolwork, which is very, challenging in itself. And then you have all these dreams of making a positive impact on this environment. And I'm so glad that you're doing it. But, for an 11-year-old, it's really, really hard. But I think your way of managing it would be inspiring for many people, and especially younger children who are listening to this podcast. So please tell us, how do you balance your schoolwork and what are the challenges that you faced while working on your initiatives?
Well, speaking of challenges, I've never treated them as challenges. I've always looked at them as opportunities of learning, as stepping stones. In fact, I personally have enjoyed challenging the challenges.
Wow.
For example, yes, but I won't say it has been easy for me. They have been just as difficult, starting from the very initial phases, starting from dreaming about planting 100,000 trees at the age of 6, because I used to participate in these community drives regularly. So most of the people knew about this young little 4, 5, 6 year old girl, because I was doing it for 2 years of time, coming over there and doing these tree plantations. So an elderly person came and asked, Prasiddhi, do you even know how many zeros are there in 1 lakh?
Wow.
And yes. Now, I mean, for a 6 year old, definitely it was a question. And then I understood that he's underestimating my potential. So I said that I know how many zeros are there in 1 lakh, that there are 2 in 100, 3 in 1,000, 4 in 10,000, 5 in 1 lakh. And also that, do you know the power of a candle which can light up the entire dark room? Similarly, no matter how small I am in front of planet Earth, if I become a green candle, I can green up the entire planet Earth. And when I told that, he really got indulged into my project. And from there it started. Then after that, as I was speaking initially in some of our previous questions, that how did I come over, actually doing it, because getting the saplings, raising the funds for the saplings. So even after doing all these bookmarks and fundraising and paper pencils, still I was not able to raise enough funds just for my first project. So how, that was of only 500 trees. So how am I going to plant 1 lakh trees?
1 lakh trees.
But exactly. But then I listed down where my funds were majorly going, and I saw that it was going in the saplings. So I said that I want to plant fruit trees, because have you ever seen any bird or squirrel swiping their credit card in the grocery store for fruits?
Not at all. They're looking to nature
Not
for their
at all.
food.
Yes, but until and unless AI has made it for you. So they all depend. So they all depend on fruit trees. And that was the whole aim of my idea of creating these fruit forests. So what if I created my own? It all started with some of my local friends creating an eco army, and convincing them was a task, because I would be someone rolling in the soil and having having straws in my hair, and they were all clean and neat. So they were like not able to align with my idea of nature, but slowly they understood. And then we started to go door to door to go over there and tell that we'll come next weekend, eat the fruits, save the seeds, dry them, and give it to us. And
Wow.
then yes, and then I collected these seeds, created a small community nursery with all these like minded children, and from there I started to procure my saplings. Then I created a school nursery, and now I have a proper functional farmers nursery with 30,000 saplings where I have given them salary, I've given them the resources, and from there I source my saplings. So if this challenge would not have come of funds in front of me, I would have been dependent on the nurseries. But then this inspired me to create my own ecosystem. Now, after the plantation comes the maintenance. How will I maintain them? Sometimes in the initial plantations, cattle comes and eat it, not enough water supply. The saplings are not able to survive in that harsh weather, and some in the initial phases, in fact even now, sometimes I come in situations where I literally start to cry, but then I realize that crying is not going to help. Those tears are not going to be enough to water the plants.
Plants.
That is why, yes, that is why I decided, came up with my own solutions everywhere. For example, if I'm doing in schools, I encouraged the children themselves to take care of the plants so that they can also inculcate within themselves this love for nature. If I'm doing in industries, then what we would do is basically reroute the grey water towards the tree plantation. In some locations, specifically, we have to arrange gardeners and people who can look after it. And it has been challenging, but definitely without the support of this community of mine, without the support of the villagers, the farmers, the students, it would not have been possible. And till date, every day I face some or the other challenge, starting from being underrated for my age, and how can 11-year-old even make a difference? But I have always treated them as stepping stones, and that is how I've been facing them. And speaking of academics, so academics is something I love. I enjoy education. I love studying. But the key thing in it has been that I have not treated only school as my place to learn, but rather even my practical experiences as these hubs of learning. Because my work on ground itself teaches me so much about what I learn in school. Because, for instance, we have civics. So in civics, what I do is that I work with the government, so I know the hierarchy itself of the forest rangers, district
Yes.
forest officer. So automatically, the municipal corporation, the commissioner, the chairman, the elected bodies, automatically everything is set in my mind.
You're having
Where do I
practical knowledge rather than book knowledge. You're going through a practical knowledge. You understand the entire hierarchy through that. Wow.
Yes, because I have gone to their tables myself. I work with them every day. If it is maths, calculations on the ground. If it is Tamil, communicating with the villagers and farmers. So, and science, I enjoy doing it in my day to day life, especially working in the field of environment.
Yes.
So, everything is so connected. We just have to merge it together, not treat studies as some separate part. And I'm not very proud to say, but my attendance is 25% most of the time, because I have to travel so much to different places to spread awareness, to spread this environmental message to youth, to corporates, to everybody. But I have to carry my books. I try to carry my notes, whatever I'm doing, to manage it. And of course, my school and my teachers are also very cooperative and supportive when it comes to this. And I'm happy to say that I get great grades in every subject.
Oh my God, you're so inspiring. I'm just thinking through it. Like when you spoke about how you became an entrepreneur at a very young age by, convincing the children to give back the seeds of the fruits they eat, and you started your own nursery. What an innovative way to come up to actually find your own solution rather than sitting and worrying about, oh, I don't know how to get the saplings. You found a solution for yourself, and now you have your own nursery and you have people working for you, and you're able to provide them with a livelihood as well. That's simply amazing. At 11-year-old, you're able to do that. Is like, I just can't imagine. I was just thinking to myself when I heard you talking about it, what did I do when I was 11 years old? I don't even think my brain even worked in those capacities, but incredibly proud of you. And also from an educational standpoint, you brought up a very good point. People always look at education from school as, something which you need to do in order to procure an employment later at your age. But that is not that. You have to connect to your everyday life, and what you learn at school is also happening into your day-to-day life. The way you explain how civics is connected to all the work you do, and especially your math, because of the numbers you have to work for running your foundations. And also you're talking about science, which is what you live and breathe every day, and how you've connected that is incredible. And I'm so grateful to all your teachers and your school for supporting you, because schools like this and teachers are very, very important in this world. When they see somebody who is so passionate about doing something, they have made sure that they are contributing to that as well, to helping you achieve your goals. And kudos that I don't know how you're managing it, and you're getting such great grades in spite of all your hectic travels, because I do know that you're traveling quite a bit, because I follow you on LinkedIn, and I'm like, every day when I see your post, and I'm like, how is this child even doing it? So now I'm really convinced that you're still managing it and you're doing amazing. So awesome. That was a great answer. So next we're moving to recognition and impact. So how did it feel to receive the Rashtriya Bal Puraskar Award, and how has it influenced your work? What impact do you hope to have with your initiatives, both locally and globally?
So, recognition of impact, first of all, any recognition, any appreciation from the awards that I have received, like 80 Now Leaders of Tomorrow, Economic Times, or the Diana Award, the Eco Hero Award USA, Prime Minister National Child Award, of course, and even the blessings that I get from those villagers and those farmers, both of them matter for me, because both recognition and appreciation play a crucial role of motivation for everything that I do, because they motivate me to continue doing whatever I am doing. And particularly the Prime Minister National Child Award. Oh my God, it was a very, very, very big moment for me when I got to know about it. So it was 5:36 in the morning, and my parents, they just got a notification because I was asleep at that time. So then they saw it, and then they came to me and they were like, Prasiddhi, do you know that you have received the Prime Minister? And then I woke up all of a sudden. I pinched myself to check that it is real.
Yeah.
And I was so happy, so joyous. I had just planted 13,000 trees at that time in the year 2021. And then I got ready, did my daily routine, went downstairs, planted a tree to celebrate that happiness of mine. And I showed gratitude to everybody who had supported me in this journey. Then, when I received the Prime Minister National Child Award from our Honorable Prime Minister, being there in front of him, due to COVID, it was virtual, but then he shared specifically 3 sankalpas with me. Those 3 sankalpas during the award ceremony. The first one was to be regular, nirantarta, to be regular in whatever I'm doing. It is tree plantation or environmental conservation or social entrepreneurship. I have to be continuous in what I am doing. I have to continue doing it. Not that I got the award today, it's all over, I'm happy. I have to continue doing it. If I have made a promise that I want to plant 1 lakh trees, 100,000 trees, I have to achieve it. And the third one was to stick to the promise that I've made to the nation. Sorry, that was the second one, to stick to the promise I've made to the nation. So it was 1 lakh trees at that time to achieve it. And the third one was to be humble. And in fact, even I say that if you will not be humble, you will surely stumble. So this
Oh,
these were three sankalpas that were shared with me, and it was like a huge boost to do what I'm doing. From there, it took a bigger jump in the work that I'm doing. After that, I received the Diana Award from United Kingdom. That is the most prestigious award given globally for young people in social action and humanitarian effort, from the Duke of Sussex and the Duke of Cambridge. Then I received Global Child Prodigy Award from UAE, Dubai. I received the Eco Hero Award from California. I was featured on National Geographic in as a part of One for Change Makers. I also received the ET Now Leaders of Tomorrow in Delhi. So, and recently in this Republic Day of 2024 of India, the 75th one, I was also invited as a special guest as part of Man Ki Baat to see the Republic Day, to be a part of the Republic Day event by our Honorable Prime Minister. So these recognitions have definitely been a huge motivation for me and the support for me when it comes to continue doing what I am doing as a trust that you are doing amazing. Now you have to double your impact. And then when we speak of impact, of course, the local impact that I've been creating, in the villages and the communities, by empowering them, by supporting them, and also globally, because by representing in platforms like G20, United Nations, the climate change conference, where I was the youngest delegate and also the youngest international speaker, where I actually represent the work that is happening on ground, because I realized that this sync between the global level and the grassroots level is very important. Once this sync comes in the entire world, we can create a huge revolution. The people working on the ground and the leaders taking the decisions. And that is what I have been trying to do. And through this, it has spread my work, my initiative has spread across 20 plus countries with individuals and change makers making differences on their own levels, where I spread of environmental awareness, connect with them, and try to expand my initiative. And I believe that, not only me or the people of India, but everybody has to come together if we really want to make a solution for this climate crisis that we are facing.
wow. I'm just so mesmerized listening to you, Prasiddhi, honestly. And especially you said about the three things about being consistent in whatever you do, whatever work you've taken upon yourself, making sure that you're committed to your work, whatever you promised, you're committing and making sure it's getting accomplished. Most important of all is being humble. And the way you said is, if you're not humble, you stumble, is absolutely true. And that, coming from a 11-year-old, speaks volumes to me, because I think every child who's going to listen to this podcast should understand that no matter what you achieve in your life, staying humble, staying grounded is extremely important, which always keeps you looking to your North Star, what you have to do, and not get carried away with all the other things which come along with all these accolades, and not get carried away. And you're staying humble, and you're always focusing on what your goals are and what you want to do. So inspiring just listening to you. Such a wonderful conversation. I'm so inspired just listening to you.
I
So
have been inspired from these, trees to be rooted, to be humble. Nature trees, biggest example,
yes,
because they grow 300 feet tall, 400 feet, but they remain grounded in the soil. So
always. Yes. Oh my God, that's
I'm
amazing.
just 5.6 feet, so I should definitely remain grounded in this world.
I'm going to take some anecdotes from here, and I'm going to share with my own children. I promise I'll do that. Uh, so the next one I have is future goals and vision. What are your plans for the future, both for your environmental work and your personal aspirations? How do you see your role as an environmental activist evolving as you get older?
Okay. So first of all, I think even in the future I will be growing younger. And if we speak of, my future, my individual future aspirations, as well as the environmental organizational aspirations, I believe that I have the central goal of both my organization, the Green Pillar and Prasidhi Forest Foundation, is to heal our earth. And between this big vision, I created two missions. My first mission is based on action. So to plant trees and do nature-based solution projects to enhance biodiversity in our environment until it becomes our culture. And my second mission is to bring people together and keep spreading environmental awareness until it gets translated in our literature. And these were two missions which I created. Initially, both the roles were being played by Prasiddi Forest Foundation. But then later, I realized that awareness needs an individual attention, which led to the creation of the Green Pillar. And I see the Green Pillar is focused on climate education, environmental programs, courses, workshops for majorly youth and younger children, my friends, I would rather say, and of course, corporates and other people, environmental enthusiasts. And I see that in Prasiddhi Forest Foundation, we plan to do larger scale projects because our goal is huge, to green the entire world, to collaborate and expand the initiatives that we are doing. And in the Green Pillar, we plan to become a huge platform for climate education so that we can empower people through these learning platforms to actually start taking real action on ground and stop activism, because just activism is not going to make any difference on what is happening on the ground, because we just overshooted 1.5 degrees, according to we overshooted 1.5
Yes.
degrees to recent reports. And this target that was taken in the Paris Agreement in COP21 has been overshooted. So just talking about it, just making news reports or just activism about it is not going to help. So through these things, to really empower people and tell them, because a lot of us want to do something, but we don't know how to do it. So through these platforms, through these courses, I plan to encourage and to bring a revolution in the way and in of creating a pathway for people to take environmental action. Because in this journey, so many people came to me that I want to make a difference, I want to do something for the planet, but I don't know how. So by giving them the right tools and channelizing it, I plan to create an impact. And if we speak of my own individual goals, my own individual aspiration, I think in this world where every second new innovations are coming, new fields are being discovered, I don't want to restrict myself right now at the age of 11. I don't want to restrict myself, but I have 4S, which I like to call 4 domains in which I have curiosity, in which I wish to grow. So the first one is soil, which is beneath us, because I realized that it is such a huge world, so many microorganisms, the entire wood wide web, the integral, intricate root system which is there. I really want to discover soil on a mass scale. The second S that I have is spirituality, because if we don't know the inside of us, how can we change the outside world? So I really believe, in mantra chanting and yoga and spirituality to grow in it furthermore. That is why I'm also mantra dikshit from Swami Niranjananand Saraswati ji from Bihar School of Yoga, who is the disciple of Swami Shivanand ji. And over there, I practice mantra chanting, yoga, karma yoga, this spirituality which helps me to have fun and to know my inner self. And this third S is sustainability. So definitely a sustainable living and also sustainable impacts through my organizations, through my work, which I've been explaining about quite broadly to all of you. And the fourth one is space, above us, inside us, outside of us, above us. Because I feel that it is going to be a huge field in the future But I also feel that we are planning to grow vegetables on Mars, and we are cutting on trees. Cutting trees on Earth is an irony. Yes. So I want to grow in that field, but I also want to take care of our home planet Earth. So these are the domains, future aspirations that I have. But particularly, I don't want to restrict myself right now. And growing further, one main thing that I have learned that my parents have always taught me is that to grow and become as a good human. So that is my number one goal, and other aspirations come with that.
Oh my God. I'm just so much in awe just listening to you. First, about your Green Pillar organization, what you want to do, bringing people from all walks of life, educate them on what sustainability means and how to do it. You're absolutely right. Going and speaking in different forums is one step. But if you don't take action about it, then there is no any impact at all, actual impact. Like you said, many people want to do a lot of things, but they don't know how to do it. So through Green Pillar, you're bringing all these amazing individuals from all over the world, educating them, young and the old, and to show them the path on what can be done in order for us to make this planet much greener. So kudos to you for creating Green Pillar, an amazing initiative. And second, when you spoke about the 4S, I'm like really, amazed at how you're thinking about a soil, which is very important, which is extremely crucial for our planet. And then you're talking about spirituality. Unless you're grounded, unless you understand who you are within you, there is no way that you can make an impact around you, which is true. And for an 11-year-old child to understand and then going and doing mantra sadhana is like, simply amazing. And may God bless you abundantly for that. And then you spoke about sustainability, which is what you live and breathe every single day. And you spoke about space, which is absolutely important. And you said about something, we are trying to plant something in Mars, but we're cutting trees and on Mother Earth. I think there's a huge lesson that it needs to be conveyed. We are talking about new advancements in science, which is good. The world definitely needs to advance, but we are still forgetting about our Mother Earth when we're thinking about advancement. So connecting both is extremely important as well. I have no idea how you come up with these concepts, Prasiddhi. I'm sure that Divine has blessed you immensely, but I am completely, just listening to you today.
Thank you so much.
Next, let's move on to advocacy and empowerment. How do you advocate for environmental issues to your peers and adults? What advice do you have for other young children who want to make a difference in their communities?
Okay. So, speaking of advocacy or awareness, in advocacy, let me pay a little attention on something we were talking about earlier about the Green Pillar, which was the second organization that I founded. So, actually, let me introduce you to why I even created it. That was because I realized that I was spending more time in other meeting rooms, in other halls, in other classrooms, other schools and programs than my own classroom. And I realized that people want to do something and they are ignorant. And I was being invited to lots of different platforms and going there and talking about it. But I saw that it won't be possible for me to be everywhere all the time to talk about it, which made me understand about the necessity of something dedicated to providing the tools and awareness and a baseline, the fundamentals or the basics of environment and creating climate action. And from there, the social enterprise, the Green Pillar, took birth. Now, after this idea came up, I decided, about environmental conservation. And in this, we have lots of different environmental programs and courses. And I suggest that you go to www.thegreenpillar.com and experience one of our best ones, be the impact creator. And these are short and precise, but they really serve as an action plan for community service. Now, if we talk individually, because I have gone to more than 900,000 plus different places, such platforms and interviews and sessions and events. where I have advocated about the environment, about sustainability and climate action. So over there, what I do is I have really believed, if we focus a little bit towards youth, towards children, I have really believed in introducing about the aspect of sense of reality, sense of hope, and sense of responsibility. This has been the baseline for wherever I go, because it is very important that we have a sense of hope, that we, because there has been this thing of new thing of climate anxiety, especially in youth, children and youth, that we don't feel unsafe about our future. We don't see how our future is going to be with oxygen cylinders and not good clean food and not pure water. And I completely resonate with that feeling, being a child myself, having a future myself. But then I think that having a sense of hope is very important. But just hope is not sufficient. We should have a sense of reality, of course. And that is why I talk to people about what is actually happening, about how we are facing this anthropocene, the geological age of the planet, in which human activity has been dominant, where we face three central challenges. you know the challenge of mitigating and adapting to climate change, ensuring human well-being, and protecting biodiversity. These have been globally recognized as the three main factors and the three main problems that we are facing. So when I talk about this, people look at the other side of it. But between hope and between reality comes something that is dependent on us, and that would be the sense of responsibility. So we all really have to respect that every tree that we plant, every drop of water that we save, plays a vital role in this entire environmental wave that we wish to create to protect our planet Earth from this crisis. So, this is something I talk about to everybody, no matter their age, no matter what they do, and in different simplified formats or whatever way people are able to understand. And if we focus specifically on children, on youth, what message I have for them, I have this quote that I have created, that dream high, higher than the sky, think deep, deeper than the ocean, and act like trees, bees, and seas, and believe in the potential you have. Believe in the power of that small 4 millimeter seed, which can grow into a 400 feet tall tree. And if we have this thought process in mind, I think we as kids have the most energy than anybody in this world. So we channelize it for a cause, we can make a huge revolution.
Oh my God. I'm just going to ask you to give you my the quote, what you just said. And I'm going to stick it on my desk, because it's just not for children, even for adults. That's a huge lesson. You said about hope, reality, and responsibility. Having a sense of hope, sense of reality, sense of responsibility is absolutely important. I have no idea how such a young mind can come up with such profound concepts like this and also take action on it. And I sincerely hope every child who's going to listen to this podcast imbibe on every single word what you said right now, because it's absolute truth. Yes, we are going through a crisis mode. That is the reality. We all know that. But we also should have the hope that we can make a difference. And each and every human on this earth, both a child and an adult, have a responsibility to ensure that we take action as well. So when we have that mindset, anything is possible. And just listening to you say that is like, made me more confident that the world is in such a much more better hands than the current generation, because I'm sure you guys will definitely take care of Mother Earth much better than what we've done. So kudos to you, Prasiddhi, again.
Thank you so much.
So moving to education and awareness. How do you educate those around you about the importance of environmental conservation? What message do you wish to spread about the importance of trees and greenery to our planet?
All right. So when we talk about uh, educating those around environmental awareness, definitely my platform, the Green Pillar, which I refer to as TGP, comes in place, of course, with our baseline of learn, act, and impact. And that is definitely playing a vital role in the educational aspect because I've offered it to various different people through which they learn and understand. And in education, I have had these whenever I go anywhere. I give these sessions, I give these workshops. In that, I start with tales, okay, with stories, which are really environmental stories connected to planet Earth. For example, there is a session that I give on harnessing the power of nature based solutions, a case study in climate action, community engagement, and children and youth. And in that, I start off with the tale of Earth. There was a wondrous planet which took birth with all kinds of resources, life supporting gases, plateaus, mountains, plains, rivers, oceans, life, most importantly, trees, plants, animals. And between this beautiful ecosystem, humans took birth. And planet Earth pampered us with all resources we wanted, and we used it till such an extent that eventually planet Earth started to be plundered and be polluted. And we humans got trapped in our own trap that we created, that unknowingly, by utilizing more resources. And then I give them the aspect, about how we are using almost 1.6, so almost 2 Earths to give us what we need to live, eat, and grow our economies. And if we continue like this, it is projected that by 2040, there would be more than, 1 in 4 children will be living in areas with water shortages. By 2050, there will be more plastic in the sea than fish. By 2100, all the rainforests will be gone. But then we have a choice to either continue on this trajectory or to stop, listen, and learn from nature, from the solutions woven in the fabric in Mother Nature. And if we get inspired from these small things, I give example of my own, that how, for me, how my connection with nature grew. I have this trees, bees, and seeds. So I learned from trees never to give up, because whenever we cut them down, they again try to grow up. A bees taught me how to collaborate, because when the bee pollinates the flower and the flower gives nectar to the bee, they collaborate with one another. Seas taught me how to celebrate, because either it's low tide or high tide, they're always enjoying, they're always celebrating. So these small learnings, when I share these learnings with other people, they are really able to resonate with hope, with reality. And when I talk about how you can make a difference, how I started off as a little 2 year old with just the love for nature, then from a nature lover to becoming a tree planter at 4, to an environmental advocate at 6, and now as a global mobilizer at 11. And there is so much more I have to learn, and so many more things that will help me grow. If I as 11-year-old can plant 130,000 trees, then you can definitely make a difference. And when people look at this, when they listen to this, they are really able to resonate with it, because I believe in giving them anecdotes and not just talking about statistics and figures. So, this has been my way of educating, or I will say spreading awareness, inspiring people to take climate action. And a message that I give to them is that don't think out of the box, only think out of the box, act out of the box. Use your creativity. For example, I have this love for art. So I created Art for Nature, in which I create these paintings, and then I raise funds through that, raise awareness through that, with these concepts woven into my paintings, which I make. I use this love for art, this towards nature. So if we use our creativity to make a difference, if we use our love towards whatever we have for a cause, then it can make a difference. So this is how I create my models of inspiring people.
Wow. I know I'm repeating myself again and again, but you are an inspiration, Prasiddhi. You should consider writing a book sometime because with your experiences and the way you tell stories can inspire so many children and adults all over the world. So I would highly, highly recommend that please, think about writing a book. That would be amazing because you have so much to offer to this world in different ways. I'm sure Green Pillar is definitely making a huge impact, but a book also can inspire a lot of people. Amazing storytelling you have.
Thank you.
So next, I'm going to personal growth. So, what have you learned about leadership through your activism? Because right from a 3-year-old to 11-year-old, without leadership qualities, you wouldn't be here at all. So, what have you learned about leadership through your activism? How has your work in environmentalism shaped your view of the world?
So let me start with the second bit that you asked. How is environmentalism shaped my view towards this world? Definitely, it has made a drastic change in how I have looked at this world, and over time, it has changed. Because when I was just 2, 3, 4, in that nature lover, which I still am, of course, I love nature, spending time in nature. I just looked at the bright side of environment, at the bright side of the positivity and in nature, in the natural resources. Then, when I experienced Vada cyclone, when I saw about the natural disasters, when I looked at the other side, my way of perceiving the environment changed. Because if Vada would not have come, I would have just known this beautiful, lovely nature. And of course, growing all of a sudden, I would have experienced weather change, and I would have experienced, which I am experiencing now, the water quality decreasing, heat waves. But then that way of looking at nature changed. When I created difference myself, there was a time where I felt that, where I also felt, I'm just 6, I'm just 7. How will I make a difference? I mean, I'm nothing in front of this world. How can I make a change? But then I never looked only at that side. At that time, I tried to look at the positive side. When I grew, I felt that, okay, this alone, I can make a difference, but together, if I mobilize people, if I collaborate with people, I can expand what I'm doing. So over time, my journey, and I'm sure there is so much more I have to learn in the journey coming up, I have learned so many things which have really shaped me in the way I look at this world, not only in an environmental aspect, but in every aspect. Looking at the ups and the downs and whatever is coming forward for me in the future. And if we talk of leadership, of course, it has shaped me as a good leader. It has shaped me to understand how I have to understand my own strengths, how I have to channelize whatever resources I have in a better way. For example, uh, uh, how I spoke about the nursery. So rather than thinking of how will I get more funds, I rerouted the entire idea, how I can channelize the resources in a better way, how I understood my own strengths, like my love towards art, my love towards yoga. I started to do yoga workshops, nature with yoga workshops, through which I raised funds, because through Surya Namaskar, through all these different yoga practices which are there. So it has taught me so many things, so many learnings, so many creative ways. Because when I saw, for example, Presiddi Forest Foundation has been organizing internships for first year students, social internships for first year students of various of colleges for about the past 3 years, and the fourth batch will be coming soon. I saw that in the beginning of every internship, whenever the college students come, there are lots of other people aligned with Prasidhi Forest Foundation as well who take care of it. I saw that in the orientation, they think that social service is for old people. It is for people just to sweep roads. It is just to clean it, just to plant trees alone in these different places. But when they saw that this is actually a very interesting, youthful activity when it comes to promoting it, advocating it. We started to create and do different projects. The way they started to perceive it entirely changed. So I saw how my way of looking at the world, how other people's way of looking at the world has changed. And it has really, really inspired me, really, really changed the way of how I view. And in this process, there is so many things I have learned. I don't think even 1 hour is going, or even the whole day is going to be sufficient to tell this entire learnings.
Amazing. Oh my God. The way you inspire people, and at a young age, you're talking about leadership, what it is to be a leader is like simply amazing. Um, so, last but not the least, I have this question for you. You spoke about collaboration, which you learned from the bees. And so I learned something so important just listening to you about the seas, the high tides and the low tides, and what you learned from the bees about collaboration is amazing. And from the trees, right? No matter what happens, you still aspire to grow. Who supports you in your projects and how do they help you achieve your goals? Are there any organizations or role models you collaborate with or look up to?
Okay. Interesting question, because collaboration being at the heart of everything I do has played a vital role. If I pay attention to the first part, that would be of how have I set it up, who has supported me in whatever I do. So I was talking initially about channelizing the resources and leadership, and about how I created it. So I have now set up my own teams for the various work that I do, because as I was talking, that my work is spread across 20 countries with 80,000 different people. And I also have my various setup core teams who work on the actual work that is happening with the villagers, the farmers, the school students, government officials, corporates, everybody. So, for example, there is the ground team of the villagers and farmers who work on the logistics of the plantation that's happening, the coordination. I have my own team set up for the initiatives I do in schools, because in education, I, being the child ambassador of Green Tamil Nadu Mission in 200 schools, we have initiated the project of doing climate action curriculum, giving a free fruit sapling to every child. So coordinating among these schools, aligning with them, getting the entire process done. For that, I have a set team. Then having the green pillar itself, which is an entire learning management system, LMS, entirely online, the web team, which I have for both PFF, Presiddi Forest Foundation, and TGP. Then the social media team who handles it, the technical team. So all these teams who are definitely set, and especially the ones who work at the ground, the real change makers, they have been my biggest supporters in this journey, who have supported me to put all the pieces in place so that everything is functional. And in collaboration, if we talk of organizations or if we talk of role models, so my biggest role model is nature, and the biggest role model I've collaborated with is nature. But apart from that, the International Climate Challenge, which was there of the Green Pillar, in that we have partnered with G20 in initiatives of UNICEF, being a part of the UNDESA Sustainable Development Goals Initiative, UNFCCC, United Nations. So with them partnering with these organizations and events and projects, and in role models, I have collaborated with various different people. For example, there is Dia Mirza, or there is the Secretary General of United Nations. There is various different people. For example, there's Ricky Cage. I was invited as the youngest host to host the GSW Times of India Earth Care Awards, where I was definitely appreciated. So over there, collaborating with these organizations, definitely collaboration on all levels in my own communities level, my own organizations, to other global organizations, to other renowned people working for the environment, partnering with them. On every level, collaboration has been playing a vital role, and that is something I plan on increasing And I must say now I've collaborated with Planet Forward as well, because they have also supported me in taking forward the message of the planet through Planet Forward, taking forward the message of Prasiddhi, of the work that I'm doing of the environment. So everybody has played a vital role, and collaboration and support has definitely been there. And individually, my role model, biggest role model, is nature, environment, the planet.
Wow. Who better can be a better inspirer than Mother Nature? And you said, that's you just nailed it today, Prasiddhi. I'm so inspired just listening to you about the different things that you've done in this short journey you've had thus far on Mother Earth. You've done much more than what an adult would do in his or her entire lifetime. It's been a pleasure having you here today with me on Planet Forward. At this point in time, I should be really grateful to my sister, Mrs. J. Devi Pradeep, who actually introduced me to you. And I still remember 3 years ago when I came to India, I met you, and I was so inspired then. How a young child can speak like this and think about Mother Nature and with such clarity of thought. Was like, I was so inspired then, and I'm more inspired now, I should say. And I'm looking forward to meet you in person as well when I come to India next time. And may you be blessed and continue to do all the great things what you're doing. And I'm sure whoever is listening to this podcast will be inspired as well. And more collaborators come after listening to this podcast, so that you can take your work and globally and carry the torch and make a positive impact on this earth. Thank you so much for coming today.
Absolutely, it is my pleasure to be over here. I'm really happy. And speaking of Jaya Auntie, I should definitely thank her that we were able to meet, and she has been a huge support, in this journey of mine, supporting, being as one of the strong pillars, because she has been associated with me from the second forest that I did. And in the revamp of the first forest, she got us. So definitely she has been a huge pillar, and she got me connected to you. And I'm so happy to be connected with you. And I hope that all the listeners who have been listening to this actually go and start doing something about this. And once again, it's been an immense pleasure and a lovely time with you on Planet Forward.
Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you for tuning in to the Planet Forward with Preetha, conversations for a greener future. Together, we're exploring the innovations and stories that inspire us to think and act for a sustainable world. If you're inspired by today's conversation and want to be part of this journey toward a greener future, make sure to subscribe to our podcast on your favorite platform. By subscribing, you'll never miss an episode filled with groundbreaking ideas and actionable solutions. Let's continue to make a difference, one episode at a time. I'm Preetha, reminding you to make every day count for our planet. Until next time, keep moving the planet forward.